Yes, yes, after a few dates. Exactly. After a few dates. But you would be shocked by how many people don't understand that concept. And I'm sure that's something you guys have run into or have seen. You know, my I don't mean like to point fingers. My brother's a prime example of that. He tries to he's and then he's like frustrated because he only gets gross girls with poor grooming and stuff. He doesn't understand why he can't get a normal one. And I'm like, I don't want to tell him because he's bipolar. You know, he won't fight me. So I'll let him figure it out. It might take him 15 years. But if it takes him 15 years, then it takes him 15 years, you know? Um, yeah. But my first thing on when you get their number, dude, like I understand we get in our moods. You know what I'm saying? Our bedroom moods, right? But don't ask for nudes. You know what I mean? If your plan is to date them, don't ask for nudes, right? That to me, like, that's just rude and disrespectful, right? Never send pickles. Don't just straight up send them. You know, I've literally met someone, like in like real life. I worked with them, right? This is a few years ago when I was in the army, right? Totally cool guy. I I knew him. I saw him every day. He was really nice. We swapped numbers. Cool. And I like was like, cool, because I implied going to the beach, hanging out at the beach. You know, I don't like swimming. I don't like this ocean freaked me out. But just to watch the stars or whatever, right? Just to chat. And then like the first thing he sends me late at night, first message that I get from him is a pickle, and it's like, so you like what am I gonna do? I'm gonna block. Well, I reported him, right? Because that's unprofessional behavior and it's not appropriate, right? You can't do that. It's not cool. And you'd be surprised how many people do that, you know. And females do it too. They're not exempt. There are females who do that. Yeah, which you know maybe it was a joke, right? I don't know if she was being serious or not, which is okay. I mean, maybe there because some people sometimes your chemistry just works just right with people. You know what I mean? And maybe you just feel that trust immediately, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. You thought did it make you uncomfortable? That's another thing is that you know people don't understand. Not there's a lot of misunderstanding when I'm just telling you like there's a lot of males who mistreat females, right? They think they can get what they want from them when they manipulate and go on these dates. And they feed them like, oh, well, this is just a normal date. This is just a normal hangout. And then they meet up and it's them wanting to do bedroom stuff. And so, like, there's a lot of females who don't understand to build a wall and they just kind of expect that and they'll ask for stuff like that or, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's one of those things. Like, it's important to express that, but at the same time, like, it's fun to learn. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. But back to whenever they're like, "How are you?" Don't respond with lonely or horny. There's not good answers, right? If you're doing nothing, just tell them you're doing nothing. But don't be like, "I'm horny. I'm lonely." Those are bad. Those are bad responses. I'm just telling you, like, I have I have people who respond like that to me, and I'm like, what do you expect from me? They're like, I need cuddles, and I'm like, to me, it's a turn off. It makes me want to spend less time with them. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even have a semi normal conversation with them. So why would I want? So I just want to cut it off. You know what I mean? What do you mean assertive? What do you mean assertive, Snake? Also, once you respond to me, thank you. Okay, so another thing we talk about is online stuff. Me personally, if someone asks to date me online, I'm gonna tell them no, no. I real life only. You know, been there, done that. It's a huge just loss of brain cells and waste of time. And you know, especially playing VR chat right now, I get I started playing this game in like beginning of COVID, right, December around 2020. When I began playing this game, I was me avatars running around, and you would not at least twice a week. I would just chat with people, learn from them, and then you'd be like, "Oh, well, you're very friendly," and they would try to instigate a relationship just right out of the gate, and it's like, what? You know what I mean? I understand when we're online, we can express. It's easier for us to express feelings that we can't in real life, right? And that's something that needs to be addressed. You know, um, you if you have, you know what I mean. To me, like my real life is separate from my virtual. You know what I mean? And we have a tendency to naturally do that. So we have to be very careful with that. Well, I mean, subtle, yes. I mean, everyone's different. You know what I mean? I'm pretty awkward in those situations. Like, I've had issues where, like, I just immediately, when the stuff's meant to happen, my body naturally just, I have to go pee immediately, just everywhere. So I'm just like, I have to go. I need to go number one, and then it's like it never happens, and then I feel bad because later I look at it, and I'm like, man, if I was more mature, you know, I could have had an experience that would have been a learning one or something would benefit from, you know, and I regret it now. That's, I mean, it's good she was forward about it, but that's an issue too, because if you're on your first date and they're too forward, too blunt, too rude about it, like back to this is exactly why I mentioned on the first hangout meeting in somewhere where there's people around, like having that safety net, because there are people who take that to a far extreme. They're forcefully and manipulative. They think they can get what they want. That's why, you know, you never meet someone at their house the first date. Never. Nor the second, nor the third. You know, well, that's my suggestion, right? That's just based on personal situations I've been on that I will never, you know what I mean? And I can't get back. It's time that I can't get back, right? Um, but yeah, one of the big things I want to talk about, I'm trying to avoid, well, no, I want to talk about specifically is cross culture and race boundaries, which don't exist anymore, you know? And plus, as we all know, opposites attract. Oh my shit, she drew that parking lot snotty. Oh, when you met her? It's crazy. Um, I mean, I'm just assuming she was wanting something else from me. Like, I mean, I don't know where you met her. I'm assuming in real life, but that's that right there. I'm gonna emphasize this on a later is online reason why I avoid online dating or reason to avoid online dating for everyone. But yeah, no. So like I said, opposites attract. So now we live in this time where you can meet people of other race. Which think about how many years ago was that not acceptable? You know what I mean? And the fact is, like, meeting someone that's different than you culturally is a good thing because you have to because they're teaching you about their cooking, their shows that they grew up with, and that will help build this huge, you know, friendship and bond, right? But sometimes opposites are not good. They don't click at all. And that's something that people also have to understand, that everybody works differently, you know. Right, exactly. Don't see yourself crazy. Well, the sad thing is, Snake, di- she probably didn't want to date you in the first place. Let's be honest here. She probably wanted to see multiple men, and you're just one of many. And that's not a good thing to say, but there's a lot of people out there that are like that. They're in an exploring phase, and some people are hoes and they don't express themselves properly, right? When it comes to that. And they generally need to be like, hey, I'm here to explore and learn. But some people are like that. You know, they she expresses herself she expressed herself by her actions, right? Not her words. You know, some people are just like that. Let's see, I'm trying to think, what time is it? Damn, it's already 12, it's 12:30. Okay, I'm trying to think. If you guys have any questions, I want to answer some questions, and then I want to talk about online dating. That's going to take up a whole block. Yeah, that's the thing. Um, like right now, my brain works. You know what I mean? But when I'm in those situations, my brain doesn't work, and that's my issue. I wish that my common sense, which is working now, would work when I'm in those situations. You know what I mean? If it did, I wouldn't have those problems. And if it would, same thing for you, but also it takes time, right? Like about the group setting thing, learning, being in, having a safety net, going somewhere where there is people around. Um, I had to learn that too. You know what I mean? I had to learn that, and not just once or twice. It's red and green flags. Well, we kind of already discussed some. The grooming, that right there, that right there is a huge one. You know, it's okay if you're a little sloppy. Some people are just sloppy. This is how it is. But like, if oh, thank you. I'm trying to think of another way to put it. Um, Grooming is definitely one other one. Another thing is when they text me, I'm bored, lonely, and horny. If they keep, that's like a cycle thing that they text me. That's a huge red flag, because especially if they're new to me, if I know them within like a month, and I haven't really spent, maybe I've only actually spent time with them socially in reality land, like a few hours, like it's not appropriate. You know what I mean? Especially if they keep telling me they want to date me. The whole moving in thing, them coming over, or me coming over to their house on the first date, dude, that's a zero. That's a automatic zero. That's the first and last date. You know what I mean? Those are personal boundaries, right? And I lay out personal boundaries when I talk to someone. I tell them that I have a wall, that I have boundaries, and I tell them that they should. I want to know their boundaries. I want to learn from them. But some people, they don't understand that. Green flags is having hobbies, right? Having interest, not necessarily hobbies, because people, but interests. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a sporty person, but some people are. I'm learning about, I guess, softball earlier, but if they like softball, I want to know why. Like, let's say, well, they're like, well, I was on a team in high school, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's cool. It's cool to learn about that stuff. You know what I mean? I really appreciate that. You know, Some people are game. I want to know why they game. I want to learn about the games that they play and stuff like that. Like if they have interests, you know what I mean? Things that they do, I want to know. So people like I like cooking. I never do it, but I love food, you know? And and cuz it's a that's a green flag. When they're like I'm bored, I'm lonely, I have nothing to do. Those people are squares. You know what I mean? People who are like, well, I'm working on this, or well, I'm not doing anything right now. And then later I talk to them and they're like, well, I'm going to work on this. That's a plus, right? You know what I mean? Maybe you have a show I want to know about, the shows that you watch. I'm going to watch anime. I'm not an anime person personally. But knowing that someone has a show that they watch, that they've been watching for a while, is really cool. You know what I mean? It shows that they have something about them beyond a square. Dude, I'm still trying to figure that one out, dude. Because I know some people, like me personally, like texting in general, like hold on one second, I need some water. That's a good question. This is one personally I've been trying to figure out exactly because everyone expresses themselves differently, as you know. Um, that yeah, that is also true. Um, well, some people I want to say the phone. Well, yes, the phone thing. I haven't dealt with that personally, thankfully. But I have dealt with people who were on their phone, and this one person he was on his phone often, not a lot, but like, but I'll be honest. The third, second time I met him, like he left his phone in the car, and I opened it and I like looked through it, and he was on his Instagram, and he does like he like would dress up like a like he was a bigger dude. Like he was like I'm 5'10" and he was like a foot taller. So like he was like to my breast tall, and then like he was really big. You know, like three of me would be him, and nothing wrong with that. But he was really friendly, really nice, very kind, and he had he would make he was like a lewd like femboy type thing on there. I know it's kind of off-putting and gross seeing him being plus size trying to do this, but he actually had a following. He had like 800 followers on there, and I'm like, people actually are into this. But it shows. But he was into, you know. But back to hobbies and interest. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I didn't like it, but at the same time, he has he's on a square. He has more depth to him as a person, right? So, me in real life, I'm not interested in that, but like, I liked learning about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry, I went off topic. When it comes to text, not interested. It's hard. Like some people just flat on just block someone. Some people did just ignore someone. Like you said, not responding to text. Some people aren't big on phones. You know, um, me, I have my phone in my hand all the time, but it's like I don't respond to people very often. You know what I mean? Like for example, my grandma texted me earlier in the morning yesterday. My phone is muted in another room while I was babysitting. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't paying attention to it at all. You know, here she is at my house. Like, hey, I texted you. I'm coming over. Like, I feel bad, but at the same time, it's like, you know what I mean. So don't. So sometimes don't think. So it's I don't. I tell you, try do your best to assume that's kind of how they are first, before you think they're just ignoring you, because some people are just like that. You have to think X amount of years ago, we didn't have phones where we could constantly know, change our status and how we feel, right? Put in our, you know what I mean? Um, but yeah, no, I've had people. My thing is people. Me personally, what happens to me, I've noticed consistently, is that they'll get lewd with me or try to get lewd with me, and then like they won't talk to me for a few days, weeks, months, and then they'll be like, "Hi," dot dot dot, or they'll send me like question marks or just dots, and it's like you were the one who hadn't responded to me, or you're the one who was being weird, not you guys, but whoever it was. Like usually, I notice there's some sort of correlation with not having interest in someone and that happening. With some people, not everyone is like that. Everyone's different. It's hard to understand. That's why it's important to ask questions, and learn from that person, and it goes and it's good because you are learning from them, and then okay, this is kind of how they work. But if you're like me, I'm forgetful. I forget. But some people will get offended by that question though. If you're like, well, hey, are you still interested in me? You're not responding to me much. What's going on? Some people will get frustrated by the answer you asking them. You know what I mean? They get offended by that, even if, let's say, yes, they are, or no, they're not. Some people are just defensive buttholes. And see, yeah, no, I'm the same way, Doom. Like, I'm one of those, like, I need my personal time. I need my me time. You know what I mean? Like, I want to watch my own show. I want to watch my YouTube, and I'll turn off Discord. You know what I mean? I won't respond to anyone. I'll do my own thing. I'll go and work on XYZ project. I'll go to the store, go grocery shopping. Like, why do I need my phone when I go grocery shopping? Why do I need to take it out of my room to the store? You know what I mean? So I'll just leave it at home. Like, a lot of people don't work like that. Okay, and now I'm responding to you, Fallen. I'm sorry. Yeah, we do want to hang out. You're right. We haven't hung out. I know, we always talk about it and we never do. Can I go through the chat? No, it just highlighted everything. Damn. Okay, you had asked me a question, Fallen, and I missed your question. I won't be available for calls today, sorry. No, I'm addicted to my phone. That's my issue. And I just I need to use it. I just like I forget to charge it. I don't have it on me all the time. There was my old job, my old government job, like I don't have it in my pocket all the time. All the notifications either on, I might get messages like 2 a.m. in the morning and I don't respond immediately. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm not in that job anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. And it's like I'm tired of having to have it and people wanting immediate responses, because how many X years ago, X amount of time ago, that didn't happen. That didn't exist. I understand that we live in a modern time where that's different, but it's like I don't understand. To me, like if someone wants to contact me, like why can't they just ask to call me? Especially back to bringing me on to my next point, social media and texting, right? Is sending multi essays, paragraphs. Dude, this is something that I experience sometimes. These people will want to text and they'll send me essays, which is fine. I understand people love writing. Don't get me wrong, but if there's this button called call, right? It's been an invention in the 1800s, right? Dude, just ask. Call question mark. You know what I mean? That's what, 5? It's 5 letters you have to type out instead of your essay, and then we can talk person to person over the phone, and you can tell me those thoughts and feelings. You know what I mean? And it's one thing that's very frustrating. Like I don't feel like reading all of that. Like I enjoy reading, don't get me wrong, but it's like I personally, if I'm doing XYZ thing yeah, I don't feel like responding like that. You know what I mean? I've experienced that with specifically with males and females both, yes, but more male. But I have experienced that with some girls too. They'd send me that crap like that, and I'm like, I'll just be like, want to call? I wouldn't even look at it. I'll just be like, want to call? Or just call them straight up. Especially if they just immediately posted it, I'll just call them immediately. I know that's rude. To me, being just calling immediately is kind of rude, like in my definition. But like, clearly, if they had the time to type all that out, they must be free, right? Right. No, I so I use insert website. I won't mention it here, but I have the notifications on my Chrome for that. I just don't know how to mute on my phone. I just want to read them and just look through them, right? That way I can respond fast. I don't want the thing to go off, and I've muted it like twice a day, every day for the past month. I don't know how to turn it off or disable it. Anyways, I keep my call on, but not my text. I need to turn my text on. But like my issue is I get more spam calls than I do actual calls. You know what I mean? Like I'll get 2 spam calls a day, and then like every other day I'll have a relative call. And it's like I wish I could get rid of the spam calls. Off topic. They're ridiculous. Yeah, like I don't know. I've called my phone company, like I gave up on it. I've told them like, "Hey, look, I need this fixed." I've even threatened to like not pay, you know, because it was so bad. Like 2 years ago, it was so bad. Like I was being woken up. I'm already lack of sleep because of my job. I'm already getting calls in the middle, in text calls in the middle of the night for work purposes. On top of that, I'm getting spam calls. As my area code, you know, is middle of the United States, but I was living 2,000 miles away, so they're screwing up my sleep schedule already. And so it's like I called them and I'm like, get rid of it. Look, get rid of this or fix this. And they're like, well, we can't do that. We can't control that. And I'm like, what do you mean? You have it marked as spam. There has to be a way. If you automatically mark it as a spam call, why can't I just block spam calls? Why don't you have an option for that? So stupid. Yeah. No, I agree. Like I do, because sometimes like I respond to them. I don't know why I do it. And a lot of times for some weird reason it's in Spanish, and I'm like, why is this in Spanish? This doesn't make sense. Yeah. Yes. Well, the paragraph thing, that's cool. Um, that's good, Snake, that they were interested in you. Yeah, I have to keep I keep Discord muted. I learned that a few years ago because people with you know, on top of already how many messages I get, people were real are kind of semi. There's some people who are somewhat rude. They expect a immediate response when they text you, but then they'll take their sweet little booty time to respond. You know what I mean? They'll respond 2 weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks later, and it's like, why are you being such a hole the past 15 minutes? Excuse me. But back to this is another thing I experienced that too in the dating thing. Like on my old job, right? Out of work, I was working 14, 16 hours, 6 days a week. Like I didn't have time to pull on my phone and call or text. You know what I mean? Like I'm doing XYZ task, and then these people would. I had this one guy, and he would like he thought I was just ignoring him, and I'm like, oh, well, I responded to you when I woke up. You know, his multi questions, or whatever he asked me during the night. You know what I mean? And then he's like, why did you respond so late? And I'm like, it was 3 hours later, 4 hours later. You know what I mean? To me, as long as I respond within like the day, you know, to me that's fine. I know it's kind of sloppy, but if I like someone, I'm responding to them more often than that. You know what I mean? Um, Let's see. Yeah, no, I keep all notifications on for all servers on Discord. All of them, 100%. I don't care what it is. Only if they at me specifically. Everything else off. And usually when people at me and they're wanting to DM me, because I keep my what do you call it? Like, you can't DM me unless you add me as a friend. Most people who try to text me anyways, just randomly, are weirdos. They're the kind that want to like send the pickles. So like I'm not. So it's the main reason why I keep it off. Yeah, it's alright, Stink. It was nice talking to you. Thanks for asking me all these questions and talking about some personal experiences. And with that, we're gonna get into online dating. Online dating is one. First off, I apologize about there being no music. There's supposed to be music, but it's out on the volume 2 and it's super freaking loud. I'm gonna try to turn it on again. One sec. But yeah, again, let's see. Hey, okay. Let's see, you got too loud. What? Hold on. So for me, it's too loud here. Okay, here we go. Tell me if the music is too loud. Let's see. Okay, now online dating is kind of the same. It's to me, it's a total scam. What's up, Grim? No, trust me. We all. My thing is, we all have bad habits, and then we don't really know them. And if you're like me, I'm pretty ignorant of my bad habits, right? And it's like I don't know what I'm doing wrong in these situations. You know what I mean? And that's why it's important for people to talk, ask questions. You know what I mean? And learn. Right? It's a good way to meet to get to know yourself. Because my personal thing is we don't know ourselves as well as other people know us. Like someone, you know what I mean? Yes, yes. I'm gonna be honest with you, all of you. My experience with online dating, 100% all trash. Too many, uh, almost all of them were bad experiences. You know, especially when we talk about sites like because when I was like 18, 19. I didn't really try on 18 because I was too busy. 19, 20, 21. I would try to use them. And Jesus Christ, man. There's just perverts and weirdos. Um, and it's like, I'm trying different ones. I get all these messages. And then dozens and hundreds. And it's like, like anyone who sends me a picture immediately, like sends me a picture first 5 messages, I would just immediately block them. Like, and I feel bad because maybe they're just sending a selfie, but here's the deal: that's 1 out of 10 people, 1 out of 5 people, are like that are normal, and that was my experience with online dating. That is true. Like, another thing is lying. Um, so specifically with females, from my experience, um, what was the one? Not the main one where you swipe left and right, whatever that one's called, Tinder. Which, by the way, if you're 16 and 17, you're not supposed to be using that app. Let me clarify. You're not supposed to be using that. All right. No, but I noticed a honeypot age that people would lie about their age is 19. They'd say they're 19, and I would call them. Everything's cool and really sweet with me. We get really close. 2 weeks pass by, and then we call maybe like 4 or 5 times. I'm not really comfortable with this person. Text me all the time, awesome. And then like they would flake a few hours before we're supposed to meet. Or then for a few hours before we're supposed to meet, they would admit their age to me. Hey, I'm really 16. Hey, I'm really 17, but my birthday is in 2 months. Like, I was about to say a really nasty word here, but that's not cool. That's lying. You know what I mean? It's okay to have age gaps. Trust me. If you're 16 and they're 18, it's fine. Don't. It's okay. Trust me. There could be a little more wiggle room than that. Trust me. It's fine. But you don't lie. You don't lie. Right. Now I'm at an age where I'm like, it's 20 or above. And you'd be surprised. Like, it's on Discord. Like, I made a post recently looking for something. And then people who were literally just turned 18 yesterday. And about 5 different people. And I'm like, I wish I should have put 20 plus on my post, but at the same time, when I did a few months ago, people would be like, I know you said 20 plus, but I'm 19. I'm like, what? And it's like, it's frustrating because it goes back to a maturity level. It's the main reason why I refuse to do that. And as you get older, right, you'll see that, right? It's like, I'm not gonna tell you my age, but now I'm like, there's a certain ages like I automatically, I won't hang out with, you know what I mean? Okay, I understand you, tourist. Yes. Yeah, no, like I met some awesome people through online relationships that lasted a couple of days, weeks, and it was nice learning from them, but it's like their goal was to get a girlfriend, and I'm like, okay, well, it's our first time hanging out, and I've asked them already a few times about their grandma who raised them, and I'm like, I should meet them, but they wouldn't let me meet their grandma, and I just thought about it, and like, yeah, I kind of broke up through them through text, which is the a-hole way of doing it, and that's usually my comp out of any relationship, but I'm honest about it, though. But it's like, that's not cool. Like, why, like, if I can't meet your family, that's an issue. I understand if it's like like a bedroom, really, like, if you meet someone online for hookups, like, that's a different story. If you're above the age of 18, let me clarify, right? I can understand and respect that. Like, to me, like, I want to be more anonymous, but some people, they're rude and they pry. Back to talking about prying, trying to get personal information out of people when you first meet them. And in those types of relationships, you don't ask for that. And that should be common sense golden rule stuff. Like, if you're not going to share it personally, you shouldn't ask them. But yes, right. I mean, to me, like, you can do that and it be wholesome. Like, you can go on normal dates with someone and then situation. Hold on, I have the wrong audio source. Hold on one sec. Why does this always change? This is so dumb. There we go. But like, you can have a boo, and a wholesome boo, right? And you occasionally do that. Like, you go and visit them. You know, maybe they live a state away, and maybe when you're traveling, you meet them and you go have dinner with them. You know, and you ask them about their day, it kind of thing, right? That's fine, right? And it's all it is all it is. You know, and I would like to have that, but you wouldn't believe how difficult it is to find that. You know, people just want things that, like, they have expectations. Even when I'm like direct, like, upfront about what I want, which is how I am. You know, I'm like, this is what I want from you. And I know it's kind of rude to be like that, but it's like, I'm sick and tired of people giving me innuendos or who sit at me stupid. Like they look at me like they're looking at staring at the wall when I'm like, what are you looking for? And they're like, I'm lonely. Like, bruh, like, that doesn't answer my question. You know what I mean? Um, did we really go over online relationships? I mean, the main thing is, like, have yeah, you wouldn't believe how many people online, like, I would meet or try to meet, and this through text. Maybe I call them once, and the first phone call. This happened 3 days ago, actually. This First off, they lied about their gender. Let me clarify. They weren't a girl. They were a guy. In my area where I live, there's no trans people. This doesn't exist, right? And it's like, well, it does. It does. Let me clarify. But, like, it was Bob J from the South sounding, and I was like, hi. And then it was immediately, not even like, not less than 5 minutes. They were like, well, I'm looking for, they didn't like how, well, I'm like, well, I'm trying to meet someone as a friend, da 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 da, get to know someone. You know, how are you? Like, I was just like, hey, how are you? And they pretty much just right immediately after that were like, well, I'm looking for a long-term relationship, da da da, which is fine to be upfront like that, but they were pressuring me, obligating me upfront, like, hey, here you go, right? And that's not cool. That's a grid. I don't even know why I stayed in that call as long as I did. I called them for like 45 minutes, and it was just over and over and over and over. They just kept repeating themselves, and it's like, and guess what? I haven't texted them in 3 days. And here they are, and I was looking at their Facebook, and they're like, oh, I'm lonely, my parents took all my stuff, and I'm like, you're how old? You don't have your own place, like, you don't have a job? Like, well, I applied somewhere, and they didn't accept me. I'm like, you only applied to one place? Like, what? This person's trash anyways. Am I, respectfully, someone like that, you know, isn't mature enough for me at all. Like, I'm up here, they're over here. You know what I mean? They need to be over here, you know, and they need more years of hard work, hard experience to learn. Some people are just like that, and just okay, trust me. You know, bumping the weasel. What does that mean? Let's see what else. Yeah, that's one of the number one issues I run into on online dating. It's like that immediately in our first call, or in text, it's just immediately like just NSFW, just straight on to get them. It's like they won't have they just refuse to have normal conversations with me. This goes back to if I met them at the Walmart and that's how we met our first time, would they talk to me like how they do on text telling me about how they're a stallion? I doubt it. Right? What's up, Cowboy? Oh right. It's cool. I'm trying to think about what else to discuss. Um oh right. I had some notes I wanted I had someone the other day tell me about some bad experiences they had with someone, and I wanted to go over them. And it goes back to manipulation, which is meeting someone and them being new to you, and then who was it? Uh, the damn back to messaging spamming someone. This person spams me. It's like, dude, one sec. See, I can't even get to the messages. It's so bad. Oh, running over manipulators. Some people back to knowing, not knowing we have bad habits, or maybe we are fully aware that we have it, you know. But people are manipulators. Some people are just narcissistic. You know, we have to be. That's back to meeting someone in a safe zone, right? In a public space where there's people around, right? Um, you know, people they want things from you, and maybe you're oblivious to what they want from you, and they'll somehow make you do those things, and you're like you're happy, but in deep down inside you're not happy. You know what I mean? And that's another thing you have to think about is and be careful with that. You know what I mean? Because some people will I've experienced personally where people, specifically online through virtual lands, you know, these people manipulate me into dating them. They date me for a week, they dump me. I already know that they're seeing like two, three other people, and I'm just a statistic to them. But once they see me chatting with just normal chatting with other people, guys specifically, they get on to me and are rude to me, even though I see them in answer whatever Discord server doing these things, and they're like, oh well, you know what I mean. That's why one of the many reasons why I refuse to date online. Um, it's too, it's not worth me personally. It's not worth their brain cells. Not saying you can't meet someone online. It is possible, but for me, my success is meeting people in real life. That's my experience. Making friends too. Actually getting out and going to stuff with family. You know, that's how I'll make a friend. You know, and then through that, maybe I'll find someone I like. Right. I feel like online is too much of a wild west. You know, what else can we talk about? Maybe I put this stream in the wrong category. Should be under VR chat. Let me see. Oh damn, there's some serious lag with the chat or with the stream. Change it. Oh, change what? It says zero mod on the left. Oh, choo choo. Well, I had a tab with it open. I think I deleted it by accident. No, back to this site though. I'm streaming on Twitch, and it's been significantly updated since the last time I've actually streamed on there. It was so frustrating setting it up, and I had planned last night to do some work to it, and I accomplished what I wanted to do. But today I was trying to do it, and it was total brain waste. And I had a lot of help from Caroline. Yeah, I just looked at his prime. That's cool. I'm trying to think about what else to discuss. This isn't the model I will typically be using or hope to use, because this one is someone curated and it's a knockoff of a copyrighted character anyways. So I don't even think I can. I don't want to deal with. I don't want to use it normally. My teacher outfit is too provocative, and my first preference is too provocative, so I need to go through and find clothes for it. I have a commissioner who would love to work on it. They keep harassing me in DMs, like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" So I do plan on getting new outfits ready, new toggles ready. It's gonna get. I haven't a lot of work done to it, but some of the work has gotten done to it. There was this one commission I got done, and the dude added a science pickle to it, right? Mr. Rick. And it's like, I don't know. It's duct taped improperly, I'll put it that way. So Rick's going to be Fortnited. Serious. See, I'm trying to think what else. No, dating. My issue is dating gets harder as the less you meet people, the more difficult dating becomes. You know, I'm kind of sheltered. I spend too much time in my room. You know what I mean? I don't get outside enough. And, you know, and that's a huge issue when it comes to being able to socialize and talk to people. It takes a huge scoop into that skill, because that is a real genuine skill that we need to work on, and very important. Just a normal life thing, you know. Yeah, that's why calling someone instead of texting, choosing to call someone is way more important, way more preferred for me. For me, it's way more preferred. Let's see, what else can we discuss. I hope my playlist is okay. It was all copyright free stuff I found. Hopefully it's all copyright free. It's supposed to be. Where I found it, said it was copyright free. I was wanting more hip hop beats, but I found some other stuff that sounded pretty good, just in general. And see, what else can we discuss? We discussed everything that really matters. I don't. At the end of the day, just be you. Go outside. Meeting people online is not unless you're over the age of 18 and are wanting certain things, don't meet online. I might discuss that later on a stream on my other social. What else? Let's see. I was trying to think. You guys have any questions? $2 was too long for this. I could have done this in 45 minutes. I have to remember that. Next time it'll just be an hour. Oh, that's the wrong app. So it's my social media since sorry, I was trying to get approved for something and a while ago. Hello, dude. Yeah, me too. I'm trying to think about what else to discuss. Really, I was trying to do it from a female perspective to a male. You know, because for me personally, like I want to learn from a male's perspective, like how do they think? You know what I mean? I think it's important, but everybody works differently though. So how I may say no, this is how you deal with the problem is gonna be different than someone else. That's I just don't like a lot of advice. But what's really frustrates me is when I need advice for relationships. I've learned just to go to my parents because online is filled with garbage information. I mean extreme garbage. Like my parents, to me, as a prime example of a good relationship. They've been together what for 25 years. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, how do you get that type of success? And they're clearly happy together still. They still work, cooperate, and I 2 years ago I was watching a video about like it's from like the 40s, 50s, and it was like some news reporter from the 50s, news reporters on the street asking older people who were like 60s, 70s, 80s, males, if they were married and you know, how their marriage worked, if they enjoyed it, and that kind of thing. And it was really interesting watching them. It was a very eye opening. A lot of them, the men, they helped out and contributed at the house. Like, yeah, they worked 8, 10 hours, 5 days a week, but on top of that, they went home. They cooked dinner. They would iron and help with laundry. Like they would clean and you know what I mean. Like it wasn't just back in that day and how it worked. Like they contributed and helped out. You know what I mean? And the ones who didn't have successful relationships, they were the opposite. Like they were frustrated by the question. Number one, number two, they were believed females had like, look, this is their job. And then you're like, well, are you married? No, they're not married. They were divorced. They're separated, and or they're on like the second or third wife. And so it's clearly like there's clearly just based on this video that's 60, 70 years old, I just could learn from that. And it's interesting how the information still applies today. You know what I mean? Because relationships, it goes, but you put in what you put out. You meet someone halfway. You know what I mean? you shouldn't be putting 100% of the effort. Neither should they. And I feel like, me personally, that's one of the biggest issues I have, especially when it comes to correlating hanging out and dating, like trying to get to know them. Like I put so much effort into texting them, so much effort into trying to get to call them, to hang out, all this stuff, and it's like when I stopped doing that to these guys, yeah, my pool of meeting people was absolutely annihilated, but the connections I was meeting with these people, from other these people was more genuine and more real, because a lot of people they're just users, and they took advantage of me being like, hey, do you want to hang out or do XYZ, like, you know what I mean? They would just show up to go talk to my aunt. that literally happened. Yes. They weren't there for me. What else? Damn. It's freaking 1:20. What else? What else?